thanks. Join us. Okay, all right. Let's see. Create energies. Parallel realities of self, like another version of yourself, or some other, another version of Earth, or whatever it might be. Might be an alien frequency, whatever it needs to, whatever message that needs to come through for that overall. And Pleiadian, Nordic Pleiadian energies. I felt them around, which I don't normally feel them around. Usually, I would use that as the starter of this, but it feels like they can. It's not that urgent or whatever it might be. So, just that's about all I got. And I used to have a bunch of stuff on my channel, but now it's all gone. Well, I have it saved places, but I might have to, with Rumble, and maybe I make like an archive channel or something like that of my old stuff, possibly. If I ever, they don't make it easy to do that though, but who knows? Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, maybe not, because it takes forever for that. I think YouTube's better on that, but you know how that goes. So, I think this is working. Maybe not. Okay. All right, so I'm calling for pro sessions. Scheduler. Yeah, I had the to channel thing. I forgot. I was rebuilding this thing. I forgot about that. So the shop here added a couple items. Nothing too, because I've been recreating the site over and over again. But there's some new items here somewhere. I don't remember what they are, but I did some fixing here and there. So yeah, I'm not going into all the details of that. So, all right. Connect to other versions of yourself, even if it's important at all, or whatever comes to mind. It's not. I mean, sometimes it might come to mind. Of course, you have like a lighter version of us, a darker version. Of course, our time here it feels like it's forever, but it's actually pretty short. It feels like freaking forever. I guess we're doing all this mechanical soul growth in ourselves, so that's why everything takes so long, or else it feels like it takes forever, as they call it, a life, but I'm not sure if it's however they want to word it. Soul discovery, soul mechanics, or getting more used to yourself in the physical realm. Well, I guess you can say you can master the physical realms at some level, in your own way, to make it more manageable. You can say that's one. It's not always supposed to be comfortable, though. Well, sometimes you want to get too comfortable, but this isn't the only physical reality out there. It's one of the heavier ones, because it's mostly nonsense here. End of the world scenarios all the time. God, like self-destruction. If you want to come here and destroy yourself, is the perfect place for that. That seems to be the norm here. But then again, it's like the phoenix. You kind of put yourself in the ruin, and you're reborn into a new version of yourself. Can be, might not even be anything like what it used to be, for sure. So, yeah, it's like the phoenix. The phoenix has to die and be reborn, and it's like, I don't know, some individuals, I don't know, sometimes you can pick up on what they're going to be before they know. So, like some parents know about their kids before their kids know who they are. So things like that. So all right, we'll go into parallel realities of self. Just connect to, I guess, the astral realms. Interesting. Okay, yeah, go into astral realms. Yeah, here's some of these spiritual channels. I think, I don't know, some of them are whack jobs anyway, but some are narcissistic. Boy, is that obvious. Yeah. So the pretty people groups. Yeah, they have a horse and a large following and a lot of insecurities. Sure, whatever works. So okay, so we're going to parallel realities of the self. Sorry, brings you energies from astral. Of course, there's just millions, or well, let's just say millions of versions of yourself currently active right now. You don't necessarily have to connect to maybe a couple versions if it's even necessary. Well, just connecting to yourself, what comes through basically on a general basis. So sometimes you might be blocking all of that out just so you can focus on this reality. But yeah, sometimes there's like a guard. It's like just focus here and don't worry about anything else. Obviously, that doesn't always make people happy about that, but of course, their human self might not be able to access or believe the other realities has been so programmed by this reality. And then, of course, those that are not programmed by this reality, some of them create all these false realities because they're trying to heal themselves. It's kind of like the video game within yourself. Sometimes you might feel like you're more exciting than you are in higher dimensions, but it's part of the healing process here. Healing depression, when you feel like you're stuck, so another version of you is not stuck, and so on. Doesn't mean you haven't had lifetimes of excitement, but some kind of take it to a whole nother level. But like the more exaggerated, probably the more that they have to heal in this reality. So there's nothing wrong with it. You have to do your process. For parallel realities, you can say, yeah, they're not always as exciting as you'd like them to be. It's a different aspect of yourself. Like, there's different, obviously, genders of yourself in other realities. To go into that, to yes, clear energies of others that are going through this, but or certain individuals that are, you might see another version of themselves, another reality where they're like envy of that. They might not be conscious of it, but they can tap into it. You're like, oh, that looks nice. I'll just bring that into this reality. Either it's choice of gender as for relationship energies, or the sense of look, or just lifestyle in general, whatever it might be, or knowledge. So a lot of times you are looking at other versions of yourself that are close to where you're getting, or there already, or whatever it might be. You don't have to go too deep into that one. You can get really kind of confused, but you can say that information that you have now, you already have it in some other realm, yes, but you don't have to think about it that way. But here you're doing it, and here is always unique. So every lifetime is unique. So just because you have this knowledge somewhere else, it's not the same as it is here. So this does matter, even if you might not feel like it does. But what you bring in this reality does matter. It's like nothing ever really duplicates itself accurately. Like clones are never exactly identical, just like with all realities. So it's something for you to connect to. There's also those that are, don't want to know about themselves, or they've created a fantasy version of it, and connected to the real one is not too exciting. There's a lot of that going on, right? Actually. Yeah, it's just it's another. Well, for some, it's avoiding themselves. Sometimes it's healing. It's like, okay, I'm in this body, so I'm just going to create whatever reality I can, so I can get through this incarnation, which is really important. That's good. That's therapy. It's mental therapy for yourself. Then there are others just doing it for ego purposes, for attention, for funds, to make money, or whatever it is. They're lost, or some are just phony humans. I mean, they're real physically, but they're like phony as for who they are. They're just, either way, it's like superficial energies. But well, it's so they have trouble focusing on this reality. You'd be surprised how many as you can see, how many have trouble focusing on this reality. There's obviously others that are very focused. As for those that are not in spirituality, but just focused on their own incarnation, of course, they might have a vice, or whatever it might be. If it's alcoholism or any type of drug, it's another way of escape. But then again, I mean, as for like some of these vices, they can cause injuries to actually the soul itself. Well, meaning that like if you have like alcoholic problem, obviously you can, be trapped here. Because it depends. If you're like sober, like you're drinking, but you're sober, you should be all right. That's sometimes to heal the darkness or just to fuel it, but doesn't mean that you're causing it. It's it's different ways of looking at that. Doesn't mean you're going to incarnate here again. Those that are like out of control with their vices, they're the ones that come back, obviously, or they could fracture their soul and just be lost for a long time. You can be on marijuana too and fracture your soul too. If you're like completely delusional, yeah, you can be lost for a long time. Once again, as for the parallel realities, it's really what comes through if anything needs to appear. But to be surprised how many, like you feel like there's another aspect of you that doesn't go through any of this, that's free of it, but they're still lacking in their own soul development, but you're doing it for them to some level. But then they're going, well, every aspect of you has to go through their own cycle. So just because you have aspects of you that are, free of problems, they see you going through the problems. They kind of like, I mean, they get some knowledge from it, but they really get more of it if they go through it themselves. Like, you get some knowledge, but where's your soul growth there? But then again, you're always going to have some kind of version of you that's not going to go through all of this. Because that's also helping you get through this too. You don't necessarily need every version of yourself to go through these type of challenges. Because if you have too much of one thing, you can get very lost. If you go through like many of your aspects go through Armageddon incarnations, you might go through that forever. Like that's not normal. So it's good to have diversity in your versions of yourself, and you can sometimes tap into that, even clear it. Like you feel like you're part of a cycle that you can't get out. But then again, some of you are part of a cycle. Society is part of a cycle, so it might not be you. Society is kind of has a flat tire, you can say. You keep running into the same individuals because society is faltering. It's just not. I mean, it's got issues, obviously. But each connection you make, you feel like some of these people I run into are just kind of doing the same thing, going nowhere. Well, that's their process. But you do add to their, you do bring an impression to them. Of course, you learn something from them also. And yes, you can't open up a reality for them, and now you know it. In different ways. It's, you have to look deeply into that. For parallel versions of yourself, yes, there's always going to be some galactic version of some kind, and world builder version to some level. There's always some kind of creation process. Everyone has a different version of that. Of course, creation incarnations, sometimes you have to take the extreme incarnations to pull out creativity out of yourself. You have to go through a lot of challenges, and not everybody's up for that. So, blessings. Greece, you the Pleiadians from the Nordic regions of your planet. This world does have some Pleiadian aspects that some of you know. There's also some galactics that are like galactic ambassadors that are here that know about the galactics and speak about them, but still, obviously, they have to go through their own process of healing. But at least a lot of them have healed their ego, but some of them have not. And you can see them. Well, some of them, some of your galactics or those that are getting galactic downloads are just there to. So it's not. It's sometimes it feels like it's all about them. But it's really about the information. But information is only like a small aspect of what else is out there. But they're kind of testing things out. Like if you hear about, you hear about channels about talking about all the. That's all I talk about is alien groups and all of that. I just kind of give you a small example of what's out there. And that's all it is. Now, some might be creating a religion out of it or whatever it might be, and that's typical of this world because it's so backward, and but that's its process. It's just why it does that is because it's locked into its negativity of its past. Like It hasn't healed the self. Doesn't mean higher dimensional beings, 5, 6, 7, 8 dimensions, doesn't mean they've healed their self either. A lot of them are avoiding this world, but they're trying to, make it out, trying to be better somewhat in higher dimensions because they don't want to get sent here, basically. Well, because you can trigger an incarnation here. Well, if you're like out of control, like you're just a complete narcissist, it's like, hey, well, guess what? We have a perfect place for you. And now, what happens to a narcissist coming here? First off, that's this becomes their heaven for a while, and so it all turns against them. But it's up to society to do that. So yeah, you can have multiple incarnations here over and over again, narcissistic incarnations, until it's like, okay, everyone's kind of sick of it. So yeah, you can reincarnate as the same people over and over again. We're just put that as an example. Some of you galactics that are here, as for ground crew, it's difficult, but it has its purpose. We can't go all of the details. We don't normally know all the details of it either. We can't know so. Even alien beings, we have to be kept away from information too, so you can figure things out on your own. So, but sometimes we can tap into some kind of awareness. But some of you, with all of you, those that are here on a galactic visa, you could say, are doing massive soul growth beyond where you can do everywhere else. I mean, while you're here waiting, and there's a lot more to it than that, but you are bringing the alien frequencies of it very little, just little by little, but also inspiring others little by little. Now you might not be seeing that physically, but energetically, yes. It's like you're organizing the earth to connect more to its higher self, its higher being, eventually. Doesn't mean it has to remove all these flaws that are here. It's just that those of you that are evolved, basically those of you evolving spiritually, have more of a place to go. Doesn't mean you have to be a private convent or anything, but it's just that you feel more fit in. But that's the process of not feeling fit in currently. So when you start feeling like you're fitting in, it can work, but also can work against you, as some of you have noticed. Some get kind of headstrong or has this world. Because healing the lower dimensional energies here meaning like the lower realms will close here when humanity is no longer opening them up. Like individually, you can open up your doorway to hell, basically, as some of you notice. And then they go all out with it. Of course, someone else can open up their doorway of hell, and that's in school, and just cause manipulation. Nothing I don't like you've ever seen before. It's almost like a disease. So yeah, it's like an airborne disease. Everyone catches it and have to go through their process. Sometimes others heal faster than others. And those that are very connected to the physical, like this is all they care about, the non-physical doesn't mean anything. And just because this is kind of like this is their religion for some. Some feel like the physical is like kind of like a place to hide. Like they know how to manipulate it to some level, but they can't show them full self. Because if you do spiritual growth, you kind of have to lay your cards out. Usually that's the idea, so you can evolve. Obviously, men are here not here to evolve, or they thought about it. Say, yeah, it's great. I'd rather not. It's not a bad thing. It's just they're taking a different direction. That's all. It doesn't mean that we'll have some kind of growth, but it's very just. It can be superficial. It all depends. But yeah, some are just like they have their ego. They just love the ego, and they can't get it. It's like a picnic, for themselves. You can say, they like have it on stage where they're the star. It's to clear that is very difficult. Like like some people they get involved with relationships, and you're around a narcissist. A narcissist is all about the narcissist and not about each other. Yeah, and that can ruin a lot of relationships, of course. But and if you get like you're spiritually aware and around a narcissist, you can heal it by going against it if they're willing to go through that battle. It's like I'm not putting up with that, and they keep fighting you, and maybe that means that also that narcissist want to retire that side of themselves, possibly. Not always. Some, of course, as some of you know, some people turn into narcissists over time for whatever reason. Insecure. Yeah, it's a too self-sabotage. It's like I was going to evolve, but I decided not to. But this quote is similar to like, you see a car enthusiast, like, wow, that's a really nice car and all the fanciness. The world is kind of like that too. The physical planet, and they're like admiring all of the physicality. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that that's all they do. Part of the social clubs and all those type of things, and just live in the bubble. Nothing wrong with that, but those of you who want to evolve spiritually, because your spirituality enhances your physical reality too. It doesn't mean you have it all figured out physically. It doesn't mean you need to. It can help you through it. Of course, it's a bit challenges anyway. But the idea is to get you through all this. So.